Should you draft Travis Etienne Jr. in fantasy football this year? Well, let's talk about it. Quick side note before we begin. Looking at this man's, headshot in close range, that man's ears make him look like an elf. The way his ears are sticking out to the side, that man's looks like an elf. Anyway, Etienne was probably the worst pick besides CMC last year. He was drafted as a second-round pick, finished as the RB 38, never went over 10 PPR points, and was just an abject disaster. And coming to this year, after he's going as the RB 34, so basically people are predicting him to do pretty much what he did last year, and he's the 94th overall player. It's hard to decipher this Jags backfield. The Jags backfield is probably the hardest to understand in the entire league. Just because I'm not really willing to write Etienne off yet. First of all, he got injured last year, and I think that shoulder injury may have dampened his production because we saw the tackle-breaking metrics, we saw the yards after contact. After that injury in week 4, they plummeted. So Etienne wasn't really good before that necessarily, but we definitely saw his stats, his metrics hit the gutter after this injury. So I'm thinking that maybe if he's healthy, we could see a little more out of Etienne. Also the competition in the backfield, there is some, but it's still, I have questions about them too. Bigsby, never been involved in the passing game, hasn't been a consistently efficient rusher, though he was more efficient than Etienne in certain games. He had higher highs than Etienne last year. And then Bashal Tune, he's exciting. People want him to be the new Bucky Irving since Liam Cohen's here now. But Bashal Tune drops the football a lot. He's also a late-round rookie. I'm not necessarily sold on Bashal Tune. What I do think is Etienne coming into the year is the starter. I think Etienne is the starter, but he could lose his job if he performs worse. But if he performs good, I think Etienne could very easily establish himself as the primary back in this backfield again. Because first of all, he's done it before. I know it's a new coaching staff, and they weren't here when he did it, but Etienne has shown that he can do it before. And also, he has a great relationship with Trevor Lawrence. He and Trevor Lawrence were both at Clemson. Trevor Lawrence could argue for Etienne. And I think that's something that not a lot of people are talking about. But also, I do think it's important to note that some of this might be out of Etienne's control. The offensive line is still a little questionable in Jacksonville. A little bit. It's not great in Jacksonville. And also, the Jags were just bad last year. Trevor Lawrence was bad. The line was bad. The defense was bad. And if Etienne's stuck on a bad team that's in bad situations, they're not going to be running the ball. They're going to have Etienne throw it to his two elite receivers in Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. So I'm just worried that even if Etienne is good, there is the worry that the Jags might just be bad, and that might dampen his production. So I'm going to give him a C because I am interested in him, but I think there's a ton of red flags associated with him.